Hey guys, what's up? Did you know that shaving your pubes makes you less likely to spread a sexually transmitted infection? Yeah, so you guys know what that means? Impeach more Bush. That's all I'm saying. What's up, friends? It's Erin Darling. You're listening to Be Carded, the podcast where I collect stories of how my amazing friends lost their virginity. And today on the show, we have Ryan Satin, or Ryan Satan, depending on if you know how to pronounce his last name.
That's who you asked.
If you can read. He is a former TMZ senior producer and editor-in-chief of ProWrestlingSheet.com. Thank you so much for joining us, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. This is actually one of those times where I have an interesting story to tell. So I was telling you beforehand that I feel like this might be one of the more crazy episodes, maybe, because as much as it didn't end up in the hospital like that other guy you mentioned, I did have a crazy scenario of how I lost my virginity. It was a crazy one.
Really, I feel like you have lots of good stories, though. I mean, you've had an interesting career. You have a lot of interesting hobbies. I mean, you worked at TMZ. How does this stack up in terms of everything that you've seen come through TMZ?
Well, I mean, yes, you're right on everything you said right there. But this is definitely one of those stories when I tell people, they're like, what? Really? Like, that's crazy. Like, technically, and I mean, I was 13 when all this happened, so
okay.
I had a lot of crazy. It was a very interesting vacation that I went on with my family.
Okay, well, let's just jump right into it. I really want to know. So you were 13 years old, right?
So I was 13.
So that makes you 8th grade, 7th grade?
It was the summer between 8th grade and freshman year in high school.
And where did you grow up?
I grew up in Orange County.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So you're semi-local.
Semi-local.
What part of Orange County?
Diamond Bar. So it's like right in between Orange County and LA County. It's like right on the border next to Brea and like Irvine and stuff like that.
That's where Snoop Dogg lives.
Snoop Dogg does live in Diamond Bar. And it sucks, man. All my friends have a Snoop Dogg story. Everyone's run to the record store or, my friend lives next door to him. I've never seen Snoop Dogg in Diamond Bar, ever.
What?
And I'm so bummed. Like, my brother, smoked weed with him once. Like,
oh, my God.
All these cool things that people have had with Snoop Dogg and Diamond Bar. And I'm like you said, I work at TMZ. Like, I've never run into Snoop Dogg, and it drives me crazy. Okay, so yes, Diamond Bar.
I wish I had a Snoop Dogg story too. Do you know, I miss smoking weed with him by like 5 minutes at the Pemberton Music Festival. Yeah, the Trailer Park Boys were there, and I was there, and I just missed him. Like, we were all supposed to go to this one place, and he left. And I was like, God, I could have smoked weed with Snoop Dogg.
Dude, I had a very similar situation. Like, because I mentioned the whole Diamond Bar thing, I've been dying to smoke with Snoop Dogg too. And I went to a party recently, and there was like the most celebrities I've ever been to at a party. And I was like doing this thing, and then I went outside to smoke a cigarette, and I was like, man, it smells like weed out here in the smoking section. I looked to my left, and Snoop Dogg was right there, and he was smoking with like Wiz Khalifa, and I was like, well, I can't go in the middle of like a Wiz Khalifa Snoop Dogg sesh. Like, I can't like go break them up and be like, hey guys, can I hit that? So I also missed it, and I was bummed.
What party was this?
I shouldn't get into that, but it was a good party.
Okay. That sounds dope. I was like, where are these people all hanging out?
It was the coolest party I've ever been to, by far. It was a mutual friend of ours. But, okay, 13, Diamond Bar, and
you were on a vacation?
Well, okay, so backtrack a tiny bit. I was a nerd. Like, I was not very cool in middle school.
Was a nerd?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm one too, so I think I can call you out.
But in middle school, that doesn't help you at all. Like,
Oh yeah, that's true.
So middle school, like, I was not like the coolest guy around, and my brother, my brother passed away a few years ago, but at the time, he's older than me, and he was cool. And so he was like, I wanted to hang out with him and his friends when I got to high school. But he was like, I'm not going to let you hang out with my friends unless you're cool. Like, you have to be cool,
What?
Your
brother said this to you?
Basically.
Unless you're cool?
Basically. So, like, when we went clothes shopping for the year, like, he had to go with me and pick what clothes I was allowed to wear. and it was going to be like that,
Wait, how did he give you cool lessons?
Well, it was
how
more
is
like,
one expected to be cool if they don't know what cool is?
Well, it was more like he gave me like skater clothes to wear and was like, you can pass if you wear skater clothes, you'll pass. You'll at least not look like a nerd over here.
Right.
And I just started listening to like better music at least, but I had a ways to go in terms of being cool enough to hang around as friends.
Better music? Hold on. What do you mean?
Well, because I listened, I mean, like, it was the TRL days when I was in high school. We're going back to 99, 2000, you know? So, like, you know, I was definitely a guy who came home from school and, like, did his homework and watched TRL and, like, thought that was okay to listen to those
I loved TRL.
Now, looking back on these things, I still listen to all this. I have no problem listening to Justin Timberlake and NSYNC and Limp Bizkit. We had Fred Durst on our show. It was, like, the coolest thing ever. I was like, oh my God, Fred Durst is here, and he had the backwards hat. And everything.
My God, was it red?
Yeah, he had the red backwards hat. We got to take a picture flipping off the camera with Fred Durst. It was the coolest, you know.
I love Fred Durst.
He's the best. And so, but my brother would listen to rap and like rock music and was like, no, you have to listen to these things.
Yeah.
You'll look like a nerd. And I was like, okay, fine.
What was his stance on Papa Roach? Remember that?
I think Papa Roach was passable.
Papa Roach was okay.
Papa Roach was passable because if you wore the skater clothes, you could listen to Papa Roach. That was okay. That was passable. So we were gonna we went on a cruise to Mexico with my family. And
what city?
God, it was so long ago now. I don't remember. It was like a few days cruise. I'm guessing like
Cancun,
yeah,
Cabo,
Cancun, Cabo
Puerto,
kind of thing. Yeah. The usuals.
Okay.
And so you know, I go with him, and I'm in my cool clothes now, and we go on the cruise. And, you know, we'd made friends with different people, like people that were around our age and stuff. But like I was 13. I was like the youngest one of all these people. They're more like my brother's age and stuff. And so, you know, at this point, like I had never smoked weed. I had never drank. I had never had sex. I had never even like, I'd kissed a few girls, but like nothing crazy, you know, like, you know, I guess I had done more. I had like gotten to like second base, something like that, you know?
Yeah.
It's cool for 13. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Middle school.
That's advanced.
Those post drama parties, like the post school play parties got a little crazy sometimes. Like when you had the school play and then like everyone thinks like, oh, it's just a little drama party. Like there's some weird things going on in the closets at those parties.
Ooh, what?
But so, you know, that was probably as far as I'd gotten with it. But so we got to Mexico the first time. And I remember like my brother wanted us to get weed. So he went and we had to go to like some weird strip club to get weed. Like, and it was like from like someone who was like mentally handicapped that was like selling weed outside of like, he was the bouncer and he was selling weed outside of this place in Mexico.
He was just doing everything.
He was
taking headshots. He was printing business cards. He had it going on.
You could record a podcast with him in the back. So we got to the room, then we went back to the boat, and it's a little fuzzy because the rest of my night got a little crazy, but I smoked for the first time. Like that was like my first time like smoking weed, and he was on the boat or whatever. And then we ran into like our neighbors, like the ladies who had the room next to us. And you know, they weren't like the most attractive women, but they were like I don't know their age, but they were definitely like 30-ish, like 28 to 30.
All right.
And
so in their peak.
And so we ran into them and they were like, oh, do you guys want to hang? And we were like, yeah, sure, you know. So then they had alcohol and we said, then now I'm drinking for the first time.
Oh my God, you're 13 hanging out with 30-year-olds.
30-year-olds.
Oh my God.
Getting drunk and smoking with them.
Oh shit.
And
where's the story going?
So then, like, I told you it was going to get crazy.
I can't wait. Keep going.
So then, like, I remember the other friends that we had made came into the room as well. And then we all just started getting, like, hammered. And I was smoking, I was drinking. And my brother, we'd all lied to everyone and said I was 16. And that it was, like, my 16th birthday or something along those lines.
Oh, my God.
And my brother was like, it's his birthday. Go make a man out of him to, like, one of the girls. And she was like, come here, and like grabbed me and took me back to my room because we had the room next door. And I was like, oh my God, like this is crazy. I was really drunk. I was like really stoned. I'd never done any of these things before. And she takes me in the room. And then I remember one of the other people we were with like slipped a bunch of condoms under the door and was like, make sure you guys are safe from Big Daddy or something weird like that.
From Big Daddy?
This guy was like drunk, and I remember that sentence in my head because it's like something you remember before you lost your virginity, like a weird guy calling himself Big Daddy right beforehand, handing you condoms. And I don't remember the full content. I just remember that he was like this drunk dude, and he had been calling himself that.
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy. I don't know why, but he was the whole time. So it was like, wrap it up from Big Daddy, like be safe, you know. And
was he like 300 pounds?
no, he was like this.
Sounded like that.
No, he was actually a skinny young guy. So it was more like, hey, from Big Daddy. But
oh my god, you sound so creepy.
Looking back on it, it is really creepy. Like that any of this took place.
So Big Daddy slid under the condoms.
Slid the condoms under, and
what were you guys doing at that point in time?
So we had like started to make out. He slips the condoms under, and then she kind of like did all the work. She kind of like took over because I can get full graphic here. Like,
let's
right?
get full graphic.
So she was giving me like a blowjob, I remember, and then he slipped it under.
Quick question: did you think that you were going to have sex with her at that point? Oh, you just thought we're just going to make out and do whatever.
I definitely did not think I was going to have sex at this point.
So then, what did you think when the condom slid under? Where you're like, "Oh shit, this is happening."
Yeah, well, because she was giving me a blowjob, and like that was cool. Like that was like I was like, all right, yeah, this is cool. You know, it's vacation.
Cool.
I'm high. I'm drunk. Like you know, like all right, cool. And then that happened, and it was like, oh, this just got real, you know? I hadn't taken it at that point. And like I said, because of her age, like when you're 13, like I was listening last week to that, what's his name? Chris.
Yeah, Newberg.
And he was saying like, you know, when you're 13 or he was 15 or something like that, but he was saying, you know, you're not thinking about making love or anything at that point. It's kind of like putting things in the right place and making sure, you know, and it was very much like that where it was like, oh, this is going to happen. And then she kind of took over because I remember I was like not equipped to even for any of that to process at this point.
Yeah.
And she like took the condom out, like put it on, and like she went to town, like got on top and just like started going to town. And I was just sitting there. And for some reason, we were in the bathroom too. Like I know cruise rooms are like small.
Right.
But we were in the bathroom for some reason. And
so wait, but you were in your room. So did you have your own room?
Yeah, like from my parents. Yeah, separate from my parents.
Okay. That's,
yeah,
I was about to say, is anyone about to walk in right now?
No.
Like, whoa, he's 13.
Well, my brother and I shared a room, and he was fully supporting this. Like he was, although as much as my brother was fully supporting this, I don't think even he thought I would do it. You know, like I think he was pushing for it, you know, so it was, dude, we were, for a 13-year-old who had never done it before, like we were in there for a while, like, you know, because she kept going, like we had this whole strip of condoms and like she kept going, like I'm not going to act like I lasted my first time for like a super long time, but she just kept going, like bringing me back to life every time and stuff. and I was just rolling with it. And then I think my brother, if I remember right, if I recall, my brother eventually realized that I had like been having sex this whole time.
Oh my God.
And so he like, I'm trying to remember how to, but he eventually like came over to the room and like knocked on the door or came in or something. And so my brother was a dick. Like as much as I love my brother, he was like a shithead for a while. He was bad with certain things. So he came in once he figured out we were done having sex for a while, and then he somehow convinced me to like go out of the room to get something, like to go get ice or something. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, so because we were going to drink more or something. And I left to go get more ice. And when I came back, the door had the latch thing on it. And now my brother was having sex with this girl.
Oh no.
And I was like, what? So then I remember I got locked out of the room for like a while. And I was like pissed because I was like, man, I just was like, that was my first time. And he's like swooping in on the chick, and now he's doing the chick? Like, that's crazy. So then I had to leave. Like, I couldn't get in my room, so I had to like go up, like go to the like buffet and like get a snack. Like, I went and like sat out on like the balcony for a while, and like was like, damn, like all drunk and stoned, like sitting out there, not knowing like what I was gonna do. Like, this is weird. And then, if I recall, he finally stopped having sex with her, and I forget exactly how I got clued into it. I came back, and she was gone. She was back in the room, and then I got back in the room. We talked or whatever, and I definitely got mad at him. But then he also got me sex for the first time and all this other stuff, so I couldn't be like too mad at him.
Yeah.
So
how did that conversation go?
It was like, I remember it was not that weird. It was like my brother was kind of a pervert, so like it was more like he was like, damn, that was crazy, and I was like, yeah, that was really crazy, you know. Like and then I'll never forget, so the next morning we went to eat with my dad the next morning, and
oh my God.
it was me, my brother, my dad. For some reason, my stepmom, my sisters weren't there yet. Like, it was just the three of us. And we got our omelets or whatever, and we're eating food. And I'm like hungover. I'm like, so many things happened last night,
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of thoughts going through 13-year-old Ryan's mind. It was just like, whoa. And I'm like, headache and, the whole thing. And it's just the three of us sitting there kind of quiet because I'm not as talkative as I normally was. And the girl walks by our table.
What?
And she's like kind of like where you are. She's kind of like over there. And she walks by and we all kind of like look at her. And my brother, Drew, looks at my dad and he's like, Ryan had sex with her last night.
Oh, holy shit.
And I just I just looked at my brother like, why would you say that? Like, what? And my dad was like, what are you guys serious? And I was like, and Drew was like, yeah, dude, I'm dead serious. Like, he totally had sex with that girl last night. And I was like, why would you tell him that, Drew? Like, what are you doing? And my dad was like, you really did have sex with that girl last night. And I was like sitting there all embarrassed. And he's like, don't be embarrassed, Ryan. Like, don't be embarrassed. And I was like, and he was like, I lost my virginity at the same age. And I was like, really? And so that was the reaction I had. And then he was like, and then he proceeded to tell me an also gnarly story, similar circumstances, family vacation and stuff, which if he wants to come on here, he can divulge his story. But
oh my God,
it's
Ryan's
a good one.
Dad.
It's a gnarly one. And well, it's not like super long, but it's a good one. And so he tells me the story and he's like, pretty cool. Like, and I was just like, all right, well, that was not that bad then. Okay, cool. And then like, I think eventually he told my stepmom because she mentioned something to me later on the trip. And I remember telling my brother, like, dude, don't tell anybody else. Like, I don't want this to be like a thing you tell everybody. Like,
right.
Don't tell anybody this. Like, this was part of your like make Ryan cool thing. We did it all, and you helped me. Like, now I'm liking me better. Like, I've gotten this done before I go to high school. Like, just don't tell anybody. Like, okay. No, I won't tell anybody. I won't tell anybody. I won't tell anybody. First day of high school.
Oh my God.
By lunch, every single one of my brother's friends knows the story of like what happened. They're all talking to me about it. And I'm like, dude, I told you like not to say anything. He's like, no, dude, like everyone thinks this is so cool. Like, dude, they're all thinking this is the coolest thing ever. Like, trust me, this is going to make you cool, And I'm like, okay, dude, like, I guess, and so, like, dude, he's, like, telling everybody, and I thought, like, it was gonna help, because it did, and older guys were like, oh, cool, good job, Ryan.
Good job, Ryan.
It was like,
sex with a 30-year-old.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, you did that, like, look at you over here, and, like, and also, I meant to mention this, we were technically, I believe, when we had sex, it was in international waters at that point, too.
Oh, my God. I didn't even think about that.
So, like, technically it wasn't, like,
rape.
A rape situation, yes. Like, and by no means, I mean, technically the way I described it does kind of sound like rape because of the ages and her handling everything. But I will mention we were in international water at that point. So there wasn't any, legalities.
Sounds like you were also willing.
Extremely willing participant. Like, and I'm sure but also you hear these stories of, like, teachers and their students and stuff, and you're like, well, I mean, they were willing participants. But yes, it is something they shouldn't be doing,
Yeah. By the way, was this girl American? Like, what was her?
Yeah, she was.
What was she like? Like,
she was American. She was I mean, she wasn't.
What did she look like?
She wasn't super attractive. She was
not. Do you remember her name?
I sadly don't. No, I really don't.
Wow.
I know. That's a weird. Everyone always goes like, oh, yeah, I lost to Cindy or Tommy or someone with a Y, and I'm like, I don't really know the girl's name,
I don't know her name, but my brother had sex with her too. So.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know her name, but I got a crazy story for you if you want to hear it.
Okay, so back to high school, first day of school, and everyone knows the story. Yeah. So, and the dudes thought it was cool, but what about the girls? What did they think?
That was what I didn't think of. That was,
no.
It was like, I remember there was this one chick I liked. Like, I had the biggest crush on this one chick. Throughout high school, I had the biggest crush on this one chick. And I remember, like, freshman year, like, we were kind of a little flirty the first few, like, days of school. And I remember at, like, one of the football games, her being like, did you lose your virginity to a 30-year-old girl on a cruise ship this summer? And I was like, man, like, son of a bitch, you know? And I was like, yeah. And then it was like, ew, like, that's gross. And like, she laughed, like, she was not super interested at that point. Like,
she judged you hard on that.
Hard judged. Dude, I got judged hard from all the girls on that. Like, I wouldn't have thought that all the girls were going to super judge me on that. People get real judgmental about sex things a lot of time, you know? Like, they'll be like, you had sex with who? Like, oh, fuck you, you know? And you're like, that's weird, you know? Like, but yeah, that did not help me in high school. Like my brother thought it was going to help me, but it super did not. Like, I still have people that bring that up to me sometimes. Like, didn't you lose your virginity to like a 30-year-old chick on a boat? And I'm like, yeah, I did.
Wow, it just followed you around like a crimson letter.
And now that I'm 30, it blows my mind that someone did that. Like, the thought process behind that of being like, oh, well, I was on international waters, so I had sex with that 13-year-old girl. Like, that would be the worst thing anyone could say. Like, I'd go to jail. Like, I would super go to jail. But like, I get it. Like, it was a different time, I guess. I don't know. Like, and I don't know her name, so it's not like she can go to jail or anything. I can't go to jail for it. Like, I was technically the victim here, I guess. So
I was technically the victim here.
But yeah, no, in high school, like, it super didn't help at all. Like, honestly, like, the nerd stigma was wiped away with the guy who had sex with a 30-year-old chick on a boat stigma for like years.
What stigma is that?
It's like they're like, whoa, that guy will have sex with anything, you know, like kind of.
That was the first time you had sex.
I know. You would think like I was trying to practice first, you know, like in my mind, I was like trying to like be like, so that way when I did get a girl my age, I'd be like, I've done this before.
A 14-year-old,
you know, like. No big deal, you know?
So did this 30-year-old girl ever figure out how old you were or no?
Okay, so like here's the thing about that. Like, I know I said I was 16.
Yeah.
But like, I did not look 16. Like, I didn't even look 13. You know, like this girl had to have known that I was underage. Like, I think
well, you
about
definitely
that.
were at 16.
Yeah, even at 16, I was, but she had to know I was younger than that. Like, I had a squeaky voice. Like, I had, like, bleach blonde hair and, like, you know, those, like, short pants, you know, like the shants or whatever, you know. Like, she had to have known. Like, I didn't.
You knew all the Eminem lyrics walking in, like,
what if I knew all the Britney Spears lyrics or whatever, you know? But also, when she went down there, she would have had to have noticed, too, since she was handling everything, you know? Like, there's not like I was, like, some oppressive 13-year-old where I was just, like, swinging my weight around or whatever. So, like, I don't know. I always think about that. I'm always like, what kind of, like, place in life did that girl have to have been at that point to, like,
oh, man.
Out of all the people on the cruise that she, like, honed in on, it was the 13-year-old kid. Like, you know? I
mean, alcohol is crazy.
It really is.
I've made some bad choices on alcohol. Nothing that bad, but I've made some bad choices.
And I mean, you know, there are, you know, I guess, I mean, but see, when I look at young people, they always look young to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't ever see, like, older looking people, but I know, like, I always hear friends of mine that are girls, mainly girls, because guys aren't cool enough to, like, hook up with older girls usually. But, like, you always hear of, like, girls when you were in high school, like, hooked up with older dudes, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, girls can get away with that kind of stuff usually, of pretending they're older, because guys will ignore, like, in that age at least, like, guys will ignore a few things. Be like, oh, she's young, cute, blah, blah, blah. But, like, I was super not cool. Like, I was super, like, awkward. We, like, got thrown into a room together. I really don't know.
That is an interesting story. Wow.
Does that rank up there with the other ones?
Yeah, that's really good. So that just followed you around forever.
Dude, forever. Like I said, I've definitely had people who recently, like from high school or whatever, who were like, hey, remember when you? And I'm like, yeah, I definitely remember that. You know?
I barely.
And like, there's been, you know, better stories along the way, but that one, it's just crazy because, you know, I don't know many people that lost their virginity, got drunk for the first time, and got stoned for the first time, all in one night. Like I was like
handled all of
in
it.
a rush, had to handle all those quick, or else I wasn't gonna be able to hang out with my brother and his friends, you know. So they had all done all those things up until that point. So I had to roll in there like, "What's up, guys? Oh, sex, been there, done that. 30-year-old, what's up?" You know.
That's so weird. Did you and your brother ever like talk about that again? Like,
Yeah.
like what was like that was interesting.
Well, my brother, God rest his soul, he was he loved sex, my brother. So he, like, crazily enough, like, there have been crazier stories of, like, things that have happened with, like, of just my brother, crazy sex things. Or whatever.
Wait,
So, like,
was that the only time you guys ever had sex with the same girl?
no.
No?
There was one other time, too.
Okay, I was like,
But
does
not-
this happen all the time?
But not like at the, never like the same
Not
time.
back to back. Yeah, no.
No, there was one time.
Okay, tell me the story.
There was one time where, because my brother lived in Tahoe, and he was single at this point, and my brother, I don't know how he did a lot of things. Like, he was crazy, and so, like, I remember he lived in Tahoe at this point. I was going to school in San Francisco, and I had to meet him at. My mom doesn't listen to this. I had to meet him at like down the hill because when you're in Tahoe, it's like these weird roads everywhere, and so he was like, just follow me. So he had to meet me like half hour away from his house, and so we meet. Oh, hey, good to see you. Blah blah blah. And so then I start following behind. He calls me, and he goes, like, hey, would you want to have sex with a girl when you get home? When we get back to my place?
Oh my God, just out of the blue.
Just like out of the blue, like, hey, would you want to have sex with a girl when we get back to the place? And I was like, I guess, like that. If I recall, I was going there because my ex had broken up with me and I was like bummed or whatever. And so I was like, oh, I'll go to Tahoe, get everything off my mind. So he was like, would you want to have sex with a girl? And I was like, sure, I guess, and so, which is like a weird question to ask someone, like no specific girl,
like who is the girl?
Who's the girl? It's like a very vague, like, would you have sex with the girl? Okay.
She's
like,
20 years older than me this time. Like, what is the deal?
So we get there, and there's a girl outside. No, we get there, and there's a girl outside. She wasn't like, she was cute. She was a cute girl.
Just outside.
She was just standing outside.
Just
like yeah, just standing outside, waiting at the door. Like 100% like you just posed, just waiting there. and I was like, okay. And then we go inside, and he like goes in the bedroom with her, and I can hear them talking or whatever. And like a few minutes later, he comes out, and he's like, all right, cool. Like, go ahead. Like, go have sex with her. And I was like,
what?
and I was like, what? Like, really? And he was like, yeah, just go have sex with her. And I was like, okay. Like, and so I went in there, and she was like naked already.
Weird.
This is crazy.
Did
Yeah.
you guys ever talk? Like,
So
hey,
I walked,
I'm Ryan.
So she was naked, and I walked in like, hey, I'm Ryan. That's literally exactly what I said. 'Cause I was like, this has never happened before to me. So I was like, hey, I'm Ryan, and she's like, I'm another person, I don't remember her name. And it was like, hi, I'm so-and-so. And I was like, hey, and so she was like, yeah, come here, like, let's just do this. And then like, she took off my pants, and like, there was a very situation where she just handled everything. And I kind of like sat there.
Whoa.
And she like did all the work. And then like, I was done. And then I like, okay, well, nice to meet you. Have a good one, like.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like walked out of the room. Then my brother went in the room. Then he was in there for a while. And then she came, and then he came out, and then she left.
So what? Wait, hold on. Who is this girl? Like, was this like someone your brother was seeing, or
No. I mean,
just a complete random?
my brother had like this weird game where like he had like. He always just had girls around. Like, he always just had girls that were, like, down to do crazy things. Like, I don't know where they always came from. Like, honestly, like, my brother passed away a few years ago, and he lived more of a life than most people live their whole lifetime. Because, like, he had honestly, like, those two stories are, like, there's crazy that I definitely can't say, like, in recorded things. But, like, dude, like, my brother, he's literally, like, the most, like, the most mojo, I guess you could say, like I've ever seen in a person. Like, he just always had girls, like always had ones that were willing to do crazy things. He He had crazy stories, that guy. He would have been good to have on here.
Oh my God, I know. It would have been the best guest ever. I don't know. I think that you're a pretty good guest, though. This is a really great story.
I try.
You have a lot of them. So you never found out anything about this girl? No details? No?
No, yeah. She was like if I recall, she was like some kind of she was like, my brother's roommates were all pro snowboarders.
Oh, well, that sounds sexy.
Yeah.
Are you friends with these roommates still?
Yeah, no, well, for the most part, yeah, but they've also not, they're a little bit older now and stuff, but so they're probably not.
It's okay, I like old dudes.
But yeah, so they were like all pro snowboarders, and like one time I remember when I went to Tahoe, one thing, like we were like, he was like, oh, there's going to be some girls there. We'd been snowboarding all day, and they're like, oh, we're going back to the house. There's going to be some girls there. Like, okay. I'll never forget it. There was girls standing on the same situation, standing on the same porch, standing outside. And they both had these bright pink shirts on that said Proho.
Are you kidding me?
I swear to God. And I was like,
ew.
Who would ever wear?
Who would advertise that?
Why would you wear that shirt? And
even if you were, why would you?
That's what I didn't understand. It blew my mind because it was just like, who would wear that? Like, why would you wear shirts? Like, I'm a whore. Like, why would you wear that? Like, even if you are, like, cool, but like, why would you wear a shirt that says
right.
that?
Okay, so Ryan, like, I think you're going to agree with me on this, but let's just see. So, isn't there like a big difference between if I tell you, like, I'm a whore, I like sex, right? That's like a lot different than wearing a shirt that says I'm a whore, I like sex, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, it's like two different things.
There was like a group of guys coming to this house that were all pro snowboarders, and they're like, what are we going to wear? I know, all the pro snowboarders are there. Let's wear our Proho shirts.
No.
Like, and the fact they had matching Proho shirts.
Matched two of them?
Oh my God. And they were in there, and we were like, they went in there, they were hooking up with everybody, they had their tits out, they were like drinking, they're smoking, like, it was crazy, like crazy. Like,
whoa.
Like, dude, it was, oh man, like, when I would go out there to Tahoe, I would just see the gnarliest things, like the gnarliest thing. You wouldn't think all these crazy things are going on in Tahoe like that, but they are. Like,
but they are.
Dude, it was nuts. Like the Proho girls and the girl who just showed up at the front door, or just, oh my God, like, it's crazy.
Shit, well, I guess now I know how to attract a snowboarder.
You gotta get that pink Proho shirt.
Wear the Proho shirt.
Like, imagine buying that shirt. Like they probably
they got it made.
That's
the way they bought that.
That's the worst. You had that custom made. You had to go to someone and be like, yeah, I'd like you to custom make this shirt that says Proho for me. Like, that's crazy. Like, it always, like, oh man, like, that blew my mind. Oh my God, the vision of them on the front porch wearing those, like, hey guys, like, all excited when they showed up. Oh my God. And then seeing them just like getting drunk, like with their tits out in the Proho shirts, it was like, oh, at least it's not false advertising.
Yeah,
like, you know, they're just
going for it.
Letting people know what they're getting here.
I mean, no judgment on what people want to do in their sex lives, but a little bit of judgment if you're advertising it on a shirt.
No.
Little bit of judgment for that.
No, I think there's judgment allowed in that one. And this was probably, let's see, what year was it? 2005? Still not okay though. Like, like,
that was a crazy year, but still
it was a good year, but yeah, like, not good enough to be wearing the pink Proho shirt out, you know?
Oh, I mean, Jesus.
I hope someone buys. I'm gonna buy you a Proho shirt now. I'm gonna get one for you.
Will you get one made?
I'll get one made for
and
you.
Send it to me. I will laugh so hard. I will go to every sporting event wearing it. Just be like, hey guys, what's up? No, I'm not gonna have sex with you. I just think this shirt's really funny.
It's a joke. Guys, obviously I wouldn't wear this if I was down. And then 10 minutes later, shirts off, getting drunk.
Oh, so funny. I love it. Oh my God, Ryan, you have an amazing guest. I normally wrap up this podcast, I know that you're taken, by asking people who's on their hall pass list. Do you have a top 3 celebrity hall pass crush list?
Well, okay, so when I worked at TMZ, because I asked my current girlfriend if we could have a list, you know.
Oh, really?
Well, I'd said, like, you know, what if?
Amazing.
What if?
And how did that go? What did she say?
She was like, well, normally when people have those conversations, like, they're people who don't work in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
So
I live in Iowa.
Yeah.
Like, this will never happen.
I'm never going to run into any of these people, you know. But she was like, but since you work in the entertainment industry, like, who knows, like, maybe you will run into this person, and then, like, it's not like a joke list. Then it's like you actually might be allowed to have sex with them. Like I'm not cool with that. So I don't actually have a list. But so the ones I like the most are.
So you do
That's a
kind of
tough
have
one.
a list.
Well, so-
but it's not like you can't like act on it.
Like current or like my all-time list
All
of like
time.
Well, so Shannon Sossaman was always my number
Oh my
one.
God, she's gorgeous.
Yeah, she was always like the one, but now she's got like a kid and family, so probably like I'd feel like a dick because I'm like breaking up a relationship.
In a fantasy world.
Yes, in a fantasy world, Shannon Sossaman, 100% at the top of my
great.
list. Yeah, no, 100%. And then I would probably have to say. Oh man, it's so tough after Shannon Sossaman because there's a big drop off.
I know.
She was always like number one, so I'm trying to think of like who else is up there with them. I'm trying to think of like, I don't want to like.
Well, what's your type? Like, you like brunettes?
Well, my girlfriend right now is she's a redhead.
Ooh,
she's a redhead. Yeah, my girlfriend now.
Love
is beautiful.
redheads.
Obviously, right now my girlfriend now beats all these girls.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
Yeah, so usually like redheads or like Asian girls or like I really like every kind of girl. I don't really have a preference really. So I'm trying to think because Shannon Sossaman, who's like someone edgy like a Shannon Sossaman that I'm leaving out in my head right now. I like.
What about like young Cameron Diaz?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good one. I'm just when edgy,
we're
I just
going
think
all-
short hair. I
Yeah.
don't know why. I'm just
I
like,
do too.
Short
Yeah.
hair.
No, I was thinking short hair ones like
Yeah.
that. Well, all time too. I mean, I'm also Britney Spears. Like even now,
Oh,
like if I had the
Britney's
chance, like Britney Spears, I'd have to be allowed to do that. And I feel like my girlfriend would be okay with that. Like if I said I had sex with Britney Spears, like she'd be like, okay, I get it.
Every
like,
girl loves Britney Spears.
yeah, like she'd be like, what was it like? Tell me, you know.
You want a piece of me?
And then I guess the last one would be I'm trying to think.
I'm just trying to think of edgy girls right
Me
now.
too. I'm trying to think like some rock. I know there's one I'm like leaving off that like is my favorite that it's like driving me crazy of who is my number
Rihanna.
one. Ooh. My roommate made out with Rihanna. My old roommate made out with Rihanna.
What?
I was so jealous.
When? How? Where?
He's also in the entertainment industry. He's a photographer. And he said that like before he was with his girlfriend, he said that like he was at a party and they were like there was like a game of spin the bottle going on at this party. And it was like him, Rihanna, and a few other people. And it was him and Rihanna. And then like it landed on him and Rihanna, but then like I remember what it was. No. Prior to that, they were like got all face to face while dancing, and she called him like a pussy for not making out, like for not kissing him. Like she called him like a bitch for like not kissing him when they were like about to do it.
Yeah.
So then they were playing spin the bottle, and it landed on the two of them, and he was like, "Okay, well now I have to do it." So then he like took her, and they like, got to make out for a while, if I recall.
Wow.
Yeah, I was pretty jealous.
That is a great spin the bottle story.
Right? You get to land on Rihanna, like Jesus.
Guys, how are you going to these parties?
Well,
What?
that one is a party he's like a popular photographer in the industry, so he does cool things and stuff. But
That's pretty dope.
The Snoop Dogg party I went to was the coolest party, but probably the only one I've ever been to like that. So, and I was like walking around like, oh my God, this is the coolest day ever, you know? But man, I'm mad that I can't think of one more like.
It's all good. We
got
just
two.
discussed some really good
Okay,
choices.
good. Okay,
I
well,
feel
at least I got those
happy
two
with
in.
all of them.
Okay, good.
I support all of them.
Because Rihanna would be up there, actually, now that I have to think about it.
She's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's a good three, because Rihanna's current, so we did like past, present, future type thing.
Futuristic alien type. I'm sure she's out there. Universe is a big, big place. Well, thank you so much, Ryan, for joining us today on V Carded. I am your host, Erin Darling. You guys, please subscribe, please share. And Ryan, where can people follow you and get more information on what you're doing?
You can find me at Ryan Satin on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and my website is prowrestlingsheet.com. And it basically, I worked TMZ for a long time. So, but my favorite thing to work on at TMZ was always wrestling news stories because I'm a big wrestling fan. So after I left TMZ, I started my own wrestling news website where it's fact-check wrestling news, not rumors and innuendo like you see on a lot of the other websites. So check it out, prowrestlingsheet.com.
Right on. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Thank you.
And you guys tune in next week for more V Carded.